we see faith is confusing. But again, let that be an encouragement for us. God gives us grace that we may stand firm through tests, trials, and temptations. And to illustrate this, I wanted to share a devotion from Bill and Donna Dick's devotional called Hope for an Unwanted Journey. Daily readings for those whose loved ones struggle with addiction and mental illness. Just to illustrate kind of this idea. And so this comes from their devotional. If you're interested in reading one, I have a copy. But it starts with this. It's Donna writing. She says, "Early one morning, Bill sat alone in silence and prayer. It had been a difficult night. Their son had been out drinking and found his way home. He would be sleeping in, as with the rest of the household, each one relieved, though sad and exhausted. Bill felt discouraged and was grasping at hope. He wondered almost aloud, where do I find encouragement? Is there any encouragement? How is this even the same boy we once knew?" As he mused in those early morning hours, certain larger questions began to form. What will happen to our boy? Where will his road lead? All we could see was growing disorder and a life increasingly out of control. Our son's innocence was gone altogether. The more Bill thought on it, and the darker and more depressing the situation seemed. Hope was fading quickly. Then Bill noticed their son's shoes. Their son had always taken good care of his shoes ever since he was young. Though he had stumbled home so drunk that night, barely even able to navigate the stairs, feeling both sick and tormented, there were his shoes, perfectly placed beside each other. It was exactly as he had always done. Even in his drunkenness, he had managed to meticulously care for his shoes. How he managed to do this was beyond them. But it was as if God were saying to Bill, he is still the same boy, none other. The darkness is not as deep as you make it out to be. He has not abandoned all the good he once knew. And all at once, Bill was filled with gratitude and hope, all this from a pair of shoes. Life is chaotic. But with God's grace, our faith, our serious thinking opens us up to follow and actually to recognize God's unfolding story instead of our own. See, Abraham's thinking didn't come to fruition. He didn't actually have to kill his boy. But as the author of Hebrews says, Abraham did receive Isaac from dead in a sense. His faith, his thinking, his consideration somehow came together to show him a truth of who God is, a deeper sense of God's character, of his goodness. He learned that God truly was good, that his promises weren't about the prize, but instead deepened his trust in the person. I don't know what you may be facing today, but sometimes God puts us in these kinds of situations, not so that we will suffer, but to bring us out of that, so that we can see that God is clearly still in control, even and especially when we aren't. The good news is that God doesn't change. The same God who, through Jesus, promised to be with us to the end of the age continues to be with us today. And this God who loves and accepts us as we are continues to dwell in us through his Holy Spirit. And he continues to bring new life to us as well. And so my encouragement to you this morning is to hold on to these promises in a way that deepens your trust in God. It's not about getting what God has promised, but getting us closer to know the one who has given us promises, to draw us closer in a deeper trust of the person. But that only happens when we take God seriously at his word. And so when we find our faith tested, we are invited to seriously consider what our out-of-the-box God is going to do. Not to fold, not to compromise, but to hold on tight and trust that God will come up with a solution for us. I think he intends to show us that things are not always just as they seem, but he wants to remind us of his character in the big picture. And so the end of the promise is not the prize, but a deeper trust in the person.